The morning that Too Deep uncovered the truth began in deceptive stillness, the kind of silence that feels less like peace and more like the world bracing itself for impact. She stood alone in the small garden behind her house, where the early sunlight filtered through banana leaves, turning the air soft and almost tender. A breeze tugged gently at the stray strands of hair near her cheeks, but her heartbeat hammered with a trembling urgency she could neither explain nor ignore. Barely an hour earlier, she had overheard a conversation that was never meant for her ears, a conversation that changed everything. It was Father James's voice, colder and harder than she had ever imagined. "I did what I had to do." "If James ever finds out the whole story, everything will collapse." The words struck her like a falling tree. She hadn't meant to listen, she had simply stepped into the wrong hallway at the wrong moment, but once revealed, truth has a way of refusing to retreat back into silence. Too Deep pressed a shaking hand to her chest, willing her heart to slow. She had always sensed that Father James disliked her, perhaps even feared her influence on his son. But now she understood something deeper. The hostility wasn't personal, it was rooted in a buried past, one she was suddenly entangled in. Fragments of what she heard looped through her mind: a debt, a piece of land, his family. A homeless man. None of it made sense yet, but the implications were unmistakable. Father James had been hiding something terrible, something that had carved the rift between him and James, something with the power to destroy everything his son had built. She could pretend she had heard nothing. She could wait for James to return home and tell him safely, gently. But another part of her, the part that loved fiercely and braved storms without hesitation, whispered. If I don't face him now, James will suffer alone, and that was something she could never allow. With hands still trembling, she stepped into the living room, grabbed her bag, and locked the door behind her. Before leaving, she checked her phone. No messages, no missed calls. James had not contacted her once since early morning. He's probably in a meeting, she told herself, or dealing with something at the construction site. Yet a thin ribbon of dread curled through her chest. Where are you, James? And why does my heart feel like something is wrong? She started the engine of her motorbike, the roar slicing through the quiet. Determination settled in her eyes. Today, she would confront Father James. Today, she would force the truth into the light. What she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that at this very moment, James was miles away, standing on the edge of a danger he never saw coming. The gate of the James estate loomed before her, tall and cold, a monument designed to keep people like her out. Deep hesitated only for a heartbeat before pushing it open. The metal groaned loudly, echoing in the empty courtyard like a warning, or perhaps a challenge. Inside, the world felt heavier. Even the wind seemed unwilling to move. Father James sat on the porch, reviewing documents with an unnerving calm. When he sensed her presence, he looked up slowly. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, gone just as quickly. "So," he said, voice clipped. "You came." Deep swallowed. "I need to talk to you." "About what?" His posture hardened, arms crossing tightly. "About money." "About marrying my son? About pretending you belong in a world that isn't yours?" His tone was a blade, cold, precise, designed to cut. Deep held her ground. "I heard what you said this morning." Silence thickened instantly. Father James's expression froze. "What exactly did you hear?" "That James doesn't know the truth. And that everything will collapse if he does." She inhaled shakily. "You also mentioned a debt. Land. And someone who has known about me since I was small." "What does any of it mean?" For the first time, something in his mask cracked, only briefly, before his face hardened again. He stood, walked down the porch steps, stopping just a meter from her. "You should not have listened," he said flatly. "Maybe," she whispered, "but I did. And I deserve to know, no?" His voice sharpened into steel. "What you deserve is to stay far away from my son. You are the reason danger keeps circling him." "You are the reason he refuses to leave this country. You are a weakness he cannot afford." The words burned, but she refused to look away. "You're wrong," she said quietly. "I would never harm James." "That's what you believe," he countered, "but you know nothing about your past." "About your family's past. And if James discovers it, everything he has worked for will fall apart." Her breath hitched. "What truth? Tell me." Father James shook his head. "You think I am the enemy, Deep, but the real danger is the truth itself." "And once it reaches James, my son will be ruined. Then let me carry it," she said, voice trembling but steady. "Tell me, not him. I can handle it." A cold, bitter smile curved his lips. "You're brave." "Foolishly brave." He leaned closer. "If James were here, he would take your hand and shield you from all of this." "But he isn't." The next words dropped like stones. "Because right now, something has already happened." Deep froze. "What do you mean? Where is James?" He turned away, refusing to answer. Panic surged through her chest. "Where is James?" "Tell me," Father James said only. You should pray he comes back. Before she could respond, a sudden vibration pierced the silence, a ringtone she knew intimately. James's ringtone. Her blood ran cold. The sound came from inside the house. Deep didn't wait. She ran past Father James, her footsteps echoing off the cold marble floors. The vast interior felt suffocatingly silent, every sound swallowed by empty hallways. The ringtone came from the living room. When she saw it, James's phone lying on the glass table, screen lit with an incoming call from Dwan office. Her chest tightened painfully. If James had left the country, if he was on the way to Cambodia? Why was his phone here? Her fingers trembled as she reached for it. Father James appeared in the doorway. You shouldn't touch that. She ignored him and answered, James? James, are you there? Dwan's voice came through, frantic and strained. Deep? Why do you have his phone? Where is he? He hasn't checked in, he was supposed to call hours ago. Her mind spun. Check in? What do you mean? Where is he? He never reached the Cambodian border, Dwan said. He disappeared after leaving the main road. GPS shows his car stopped near the old industrial area. After that, nothing. Nothing. The word hit her like an avalanche. He's missing? Deep whispered. We don't know, but something is wrong. This isn't like James. Behind her, Father James remained silent, but the tension in his jaw revealed everything. He knew, he had known all along. Deep ended the call, her legs barely holding her up. Why didn't you tell me? Her voice was barely more than breath. Father James looked at her with an emotion more dangerous than anger, conviction. He left the country because of me. Because people are watching me. The less you know, the safer you remain. A sharp, bitter laugh escaped her. Safe? You think I'm safe now? Exactly, he said. Which is why you must step away. Leave him. Leave this family. Before the truth destroys both of you. No, her voice cracked but did not break. I love him. I'm not leaving. Father James exhaled deeply, a man crushed under the weight of a truth he had carried too long. You don't understand, he murmured. What is coming? Your past, James's past, mine, they are intertwined in ways you cannot imagine. Before he could say more, a shadow appeared in the doorway. James. Dust clung to his clothes. His chest rose and fell sharply, as if he had been running for miles. But his eyes, the moment they found Deep, widened with fear. Deep, he breathed. Are you okay? She nodded, though nothing inside her felt steady. You're alive. He crossed the room in 3 long strides, pulling her into his arms. His heartbeat slammed against her cheek, fierce, trembling, real. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm so sorry," but the moment shattered when Father James spoke, cold and unyielding. "Enough. You shouldn't have come back." James turned, shielding Deep behind him. "What did you say to her?" "The truth," Father James replied. "Something you've been too afraid to tell her." James's jaw clenched. "Cowardly?" he snapped. "I nearly died because of the mess you created." "Men followed me, chased me off the main road, tried to force my car into the river. I had to abandon it and run through the industrial zone to escape." Deep gasped. "You were attacked?" James nodded grimly. "And I know exactly who sent them." His gaze locked on his father. Father James didn't deny it. Didn't even flinch. "I was trying to protect you," he said quietly. "By hiring criminals?" James erupted. "By threatening the woman I love?" Deep stepped forward, voice trembling but fierce. "Why? Why destroy your own son's happiness?" For the first time, Father James's composure broke. "Not with rage, but with exhaustion. Because your fates were tied long before you met," he said. "Your family suffered because of decisions I made. The hardships of your life, part of them were my fault." Deep stared at him, stunned. James tried to intervene. But Father James continued. "Our wealth, it was built partly on land that wasn't ours. Land taken from families too powerless to fight back." Deep's breath shattered. Her grandparents. Their land. Their sudden poverty. The pieces fell into place like a collapsing bridge. Father James looked at her with something like remorse. "Your family was one of them." Silence suffocated the room. James stepped closer, voice shaking. "Deep, I swear, I didn't know." Tears welled in her eyes, not of weakness but of emotional collision, love and hurt woven together. "I believe you," she whispered. "But this truth, it hurts." James cupped her face, desperate. "I don't care about the past. I care about our future." Behind them, Father James stood motionless, suddenly old, suddenly human. Deep straightened. Her voice steadied into something resolute. "I'm not leaving James," she said softly. "Not because of your past, not because of fear, not because you want us apart." She turned fully to James, taking his hand. "Whatever storm comes, we face it together." Father James closed his eyes, exhaling a long defeated breath. And in the quiet that followed, James pulled Deep close, this time with a vow burning in his gaze. No more secrets. No more running. Whoever tried to harm me, whoever wants to destroy us. I'll find them, and I'll protect you, always.